These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? Two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
As long as we got each other, we got the world spinning right in our hands, baby, you and me. We gotta be the luckiest dreamers.
These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of America's Barley Basket, episode number 49. I'm your host, Marlin Wells, alongside host Nathan Fulselbach. Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Marlin.
How are you, my man?
You know, the day it's turning around. It started, I woke up, and I woke up like early afternoon. Let's get that out of the way. And I woke up what I assumed was a giant puddle of my own piss. And it's like, oh, this is a fun direction for life to roll when you're middle-aged, some kind of late onset bedwetting. But turns out I just didn't cap my trusty waterside bottle of water. Bedside bottle of water. There we go. Use your words, Nathan. And I must have taken a drink in the middle of the night and it just spilt all over my bed. This is
awesome. One
of the many times in my life that having a mattress cover was a godsend.
Attaboy.
Yeah. If you have a good mattress and you don't have a mattress cover, you are just playing with fire. I mean, if you are using a mattress you found by a dumpster, hey, YOLO. Don't cover that thing. Just absorb the disease straight from the mattress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like putting new rims on a 91 Tercel. You're not going to do that.
Get the hepatitis that is drenching that mattress into your bloodstream ASAP.
Well, I'm glad you didn't wet your bed.
Yeah, I think I am finally getting past the last of the row. My sense of smell is coming back in fits and starts. It's not all the way there. Like only weird. Every once in a while, something I can smell just a brief. It's like Cinemax porn, but like through smells. Like it's all scrambled. Every once in a while, I get a little bit of something, but it always leaves me wanting more.
Yeah, you up against the screen.
Yeah.
Is that a titty?
Yeah. And you are now fully vaxxed.
Yep. I've got 2 weeks that you got to wait until it's completely coursing through you. But I got shot number 2 this past week. Was not. I was concerned with how ugly the side effects were going to be. I feel like most of my friends that I know who got the 2-shotter, the Moderna, were pretty down and out after the second one. But I wasn't too bad. Just some headaches and just fatigue. Just like I would just in the middle of the day be like, I gotta fucking lay down. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be a normal person. I had a sore arm and that was it. But, like we've always said, you and I'm cut from a different cloth, man. They half Norwegian, half granite. What up?
Yeah, you're always saying that.
What a choice. If you were to make a statue for granite, why would you shape it like this? Yeah.
Now I just want to see someone do like a statue of David, but just doughy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right. So I got through that. I'm out the other side of that. I feel like I'm back up to 100%, but like my 100%, which is not a normal person's 100. I feel like my 100 is everyone else's 85.
Yeah, and you know what? It's just going to get worse, so savor it.
Yeah, no. Each day is the last good day.
You need that hanging on a plaque in your kitchen.
That's my live, laugh, love.
Yep. Each day is the last good day. You're eating a room temp can of soup. Just staring off into the distance over your patio.
Just basketball shorts and a sleeveless flannel shirt.
I could walk down to that river and drown myself in less than half an hour. I only was man enough. There's someone inside your house at the time when you're saying that.
Yeah.
What was that, Marlon?
You got buddies over. What was that?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing.
WrestleMania starts in half an hour, bud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I should savor the last good day as you take the last spoonful of soup out of the can.
Well, we got chips and dip. We got all sorts of snacks.
Just beef and barley for me today, fellas.
Oh, good times.
Yeah.
You know what else is good, Marlin?
What's that, Nathan?
That might be overstating it. The Simpsons. You know, what else was once good? It's The Simpsons.
Boy, you're not pulling me out of this, Nathan.
Nope.
Not even a little bit.
We have to look within ourselves because we're not going to find salvation in these 5 episodes.
Nope, we sure aren't.
But you know what, Marlin? We're troopers. We're goddamn no-limit soldiers.
We're gonna carry this episode for fucking
dutifully
sure.
Go through these, starting with episode 16, Pygmalion, which I think it must be a play on Pygmalion, which I think is a play. It's a play on a play, Marlin.
A double play.
Double play. And I have no clue what the play is, so moving on. The episode starts with there's a fake fire that Homer is behind, which I thought was funny and devious to get that so they could be first in line for Duff Days, which is kind of like I don't know, almost like a Oktoberfest, but it's really like also like almost like a beer expo for modern beer too, like because there's people in lederhosen, but Budman also plays a very prominent role in it.
Duff Man.
But I mean, it really has a lot of like kind of like Oktoberfest vibes, like.
Yeah, a lot of Oompa music and lederhosen, but it's kind of just an outdoor. It's like the food episode, the food festival episode, but with beer.
Good catch, yeah. Like, and you got to be German, right? Somewhat, at least partially.
Yeah, I'm half and half, but my German is the Germans from Russia German, the Prussians.
Yeah, which I think a lot of people in this area is like.
Yeah,
so,
there's a lot of that, especially on the western side of the state.
So it's like German culture do anything for you? You get all riled up when you see some lederhosen?
No, not at all. It's like I'm way more into my Norwegian half with the Viking ships and all of that.
Yeah.
I don't, because the Prussian side, it's like, I like sauerkraut and bonnets, I guess, but there's not a whole lot else going on that side. Sausages are good, I guess.
Farming, wheat. It's tough to get excited. It's tough to feel like a xenophobic pride over wheat.
Right, yeah. It's tough to get too wound up over a stern, deep wrinkled, stoic woman staring at the empty prairie,
Yeah. Wondering when the sweet, merciful end will come.
There's only so much praying for rain I can get too amped up about.
It's tough to get real excited about that, but
yeah. And then the Norwegian side's like, we got Vikings and shit. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, that's a better side, I guess.
It's almost like Norwegian is kind of like kitschy too. Like you get outside of this area, you're not a whole lot of Norwegians. Like,
yeah, but in this area, super high concentration.
Yeah, Norwegians are basic bitches here. Which I'm with you. I'm more of a mutt than you are. I'm Norwegian and German, but I got a few other spicy little numbers thrown in there too. But yeah. But to answer my own question, German culture does nothing for me. Not that it isn't a beautiful culture full of beautiful people, but it just doesn't capture my imagination. But by God, it does capture. It doesn't capture the fact that there's beer there is what captures Homer's imagination.
Yeah.
He wants to get shitty day drunk, which hey, been there.
Haven't we all?
Sometimes I do also enjoy being shittily day drunk on a nice day.
Something about being hammered in the sun is kind of nice. It's a mood that does flare up on me every so often.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've been outside yet today.
I have.
It's beautiful. This is day drinking weather, Marlin. One of those first nice days of the spring. I love getting drunk during the day in the weather like this.
Yep, this is drink too many beers on a patio somewhere. Yep.
See, this is my kind of beer. This is why I can't get into like fancy, darker beers, like thicker beers. Like I want a beer that's easy to carry. I want a beer that you can be out doing summertime shenanigans with. Like,
yeah, and you want to be able to drink 24 of them.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I want to be able to drink 24 beers and not have the night end with me in an emergency room.
Yeah. Whereas 24 of those heavy boys will really get on top of you.
So there's all sorts of shenanigans. I'm sure there is at Oktoberfest. There's people drinking beer. There's food. There's all sorts of like promotional shit. But what this episode mostly kind of centers around is a bartending contest featuring Finn, who's like your kind of like stereotypical Irish strapping bartender.
Yeah.
And then Titania is the lady with big old titties.
Yeah.
And then Moe, who is Moe. He's like the music that was like how exciting it was. Then Moe comes out there. He's just a dud.
Yeah. Just some fucking schlub.
Yeah. And there's a series of contests or like kind of like different kinds of things that each of them have to do. There's a drunk throwing contest. There's and then and mostly it's just Titania getting her tits wet. There's a lot of that. And turns out that this is all just a sick ploy by Budman to sleep with Titania. So and it ends up because God damn it, say what you want about Moe, reprehensible human, hell of a bartender.
Yeah, he's good at what he does.
And he ends up winning the bartending contest, and the prize is to be featured in the Duff contest. Or, the Duff calendar.
Yeah, he gets his photo taken for the Duff calendar.
Yep, and then until the good people at Duff take a look and realize he is a goddamn troll. You don't really get the full until you see him head on. He is a ridiculous looking human.
Yeah, there's something about full frontal Moe face, especially when he's smiling. We've seen it before, but every time it's like, oh yeah, that's what Moe looks like from the front.
And he rattles off his imperfections. He has cauliflower ear. I think he has like a Cro-Magnon brow, goblin nose. Is that how they describe it? Yeah, he's a...
Yeah, and everyone else at the bar helps contribute to his list, which is all right,
it's so
guys.
great. Yep, that's enough. And so Moe has had enough of his appearance. He decides to get plastic surgery.
After the calendar comes out and he sees that they've put a whole bunch of stickers over his face on his
not just one, multiple stickers.
He has to peel away like a dozen stickers to get down to his mug.
Yeah. And I hope in real life when you get plastic surgery, they make you stand on a stool in your underwear, just degrading. It's like just prodding you with a stick, like, oh, this is just hopeless. Like,
yep, as they make, as they mark you up with a Sharpie.
Yeah, it's like, it sounds like what I'm sure it sounds like when you pull an old jalopy into like a restoration shop. Like, oof, where do we begin?
We got our work cut out for us, boys.
This thing's frame is rotten. I don't even know if we should start.
It's like the beginning of an episode of Pimp My Ride where they just sit around the table and bash on this car.
Yeah. I remember there was a Pimp My Ride episode where the car was so fundamentally flawed. They just had to, in the 11th hour, they just got the kid a new car. They finally realized we can't make this thing street safe. Like,
we can't do it. That's
I think
funny.
They discovered like the frame had been chopped in half at some point and re-welded together very shoddily. It's like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna build a fucking 1988 Chevy Corsica from the ground up? No, just get him a new car.
Here, we just got you a new Saturn. Fuck it. We're not dealing with this. Man, if X to the Z exhibit can't fix your car, it must be in trouble. I used to remember really liking that show, like in college. That was one of those MTV shows that seemed to just be on all the time. Like, it was a pretty like evergreen show like that. So I feel like we watched a lot of Pimp My Ride in my college years.
They aired it so fucking often.
Yeah, that like early to mid aughts.
So he ends up getting a ton of work done. And there's a good scene. For some reason, Homer is like, well, I guess who else is going to give him a ride home from the hospital? So they're unwrapping him, and goddamn Moe comes out looking like pretty normal.
Yeah, just a regular dude.
Yeah, so because since he's Moe, his first thoughts after realizing that the surgery worked is he's going to confront the lady that rejected him at the springtime pumpkin dance.
Which I laughed real hard at because pumpkin isn't a springtime thing.
It's an autumn gourd. I have that written. Autumn gourd, not a spring gourd. Why would there be a springtime pumpkin dance?
I laughed real hard at that because I assume that's the joke.
Yep. And then we find out Moe was an actor, or he had dreams of being an actor, but he got turned down from a role. And again, Springfield, small enough that it has a volunteer fire department, has its own television network that creates its own soap operas.
Yep, has whatever you need it to have.
So he's going to show up this 20 years after the fact. He's going to chew out the casting director that turned him down for the role of some doctor because he wasn't attractive enough. And he shows up. He's full of righteous indignation. Then he ends up getting the role, and he forgets all about it because now he's an actor. And I can't think of the name of the character, but it's typical for soap opera. He's a doctor with an eye patch, and he's all about that life. And I do like that Moe was good. Oh, I guess this is coming up. Shit. I'm not going to go to that right now. I was going to jump ahead a little bit too much there. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Soap operas are a weird thing that how many they crank out is what's amazing.
It's one of those things that I can't believe is still a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
it's a fraction of what it was even 25 years ago. But I think when I was home during COVID, I was like, I'm going to actually pay attention, see how many networks still have soap operas. I think we're down to 2. I think ABC and NBC, because NBC, I mean, Days of Our Lives will be the last more daytime soap opera, because that's the LeBron James of daytime soap operas. But ABC still cranking out General Hospital, and I think One Life to Live or something like that. It's like, I'm almost like, good for you guys. I can't believe this shit's still real.
Yeah, I don't get the appeal, but that's so much of television. Yeah.
So but did you guys have a satellite dish when you were pretty young?
No, not till probably around like 99-ish we got a satellite dish. Up until then, it was just the 3 channels. When you were a little kid, did you ever get into a soap opera? No, God, no.
See, yeah, I got into Guiding Light. I was just because almost through osmosis, just running through the house, and it would be on because again you have 3 channels. It's going to be on because the TV's always on. Got to have that noise to drum out the sadness. And it's just I'm just like, oh man, what are they going to do to Reba? Like, oh no, Harley, no, he's no good for you. Don't chase those bad boys.
Jesus Christ.
9-year-old me powering through a sleeve of saltines. Just waiting for the Cartwright family to do Reba wrong one more time.
Oh God, yeah, no, I never have. I feel like one of my grandmas did was into one, and that's about it. It was one of those things. I think I've only ever seen it like on a fucking muted television in a Jiffy Lube waiting on an oil change or something.
I think that's one of the missing lyrics from the song Take It Easy.
Yeah, I don't know how the Eagles let that one end up on their cutting room floor.
But Moe is just living the dream as a soap opera star until, as I'm sure happens in soap operas, he finds out his character's being killed off. And he is, again, the righteous indignation's back, and Homer's like, well, we're not going to stand for this. We're gonna do it our way. And they have this plot of how they're going to make his character go out with a bang and not a whimper. And then it turns out he was just wrong. They were gonna he was coming back.
Yeah,
it was soap opera shenanigans.
It was going to be a dream sequence.
Yep. So not just Moe's shitty face that could ruin an acting career, it's also his shitty attitude. So he's just a shitty person all around. And Moe realizes he's kind of ruined everything, so he's going to go back to the bar, which he lets it known that he was going to sell the bar to Hooters, which I thought was funny. And I had almost forgotten that Hooters was a thing.
Yeah, ours closed some time ago. Probably 5.
Yeah.
It's probably been 5 or 6 years ago at this point.
Every once in a while, I still get a hankering for their wings.
Yep, same here. Every so often, because
they had a unique flavor.
Yeah, fucking Hooters had good wings. There's no way around it.
Yeah. God, yeah, man. Does Bismarck still have a Hooters?
No, theirs went away as well. Around about that same time.
God. A friend of mine dated a gal that worked at Hooters, and she said, besides the horseshit you got to put up with being a Hooters waitress, it was a lucrative job.
Oh, I'm sure.
And the kind of it's a B story, but it ain't much of a story at all. Maggie ends up getting a balloon, a pink elephant balloon, which there's a joke there, and at an alcohol contest or an alcohol convention. And Bart and Lisa end up losing Maggie's balloon, and they go chasing after it. And I don't know, man, pretty forgettable.
Yep, we just needed some filler, apparently.
Yep, exactly. There is coming up in an episode here pretty soon. There's some filler that's so insane how irrelevant it is to the episode, but we'll cover that later. But so yeah, Moe is back slinging beer. All is back to normal in Springfield.
And he's back to looking like Moe because on his way out of the soap opera, the set collapses on his face.
Yep. I'm sure like you, maybe the whole time I'm thinking, how are they going to get him looking like he used to? Then
because you knew they had to.
Yeah, because as I say, Moe ain't a hunk in future episodes.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't care for Handsome Moe. It's something about that face with that voice coming out of it didn't work for me.
Yep. Yeah, that was off-putting.
At the beginning of the episode, when they have that fake fire drill that Homer didn't tell the family was fake, there's that moment where Lisa is in her room and like she grabs her saxophone and Snowball too, and then has to choose which trophy to save, and she takes her perfect attendance trophy, which I thought was funny that's the one that she's seemingly most proud of, or the one that means the most is her attendance trophy. And
such a nerd thing to do.
And like that, it's occurred to me, I don't know if it occurs to everybody or just people with anxiety problems, but like I have my arm load that I know I'm grabbing if this place is on fire. Have you ever thought about that? Like, what would you grab if suddenly your place was on fire?
I don't even know. For most of my adult life, I literally had nothing worth saving. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd probably grab my laptop, and now I'm looking at my surroundings. They are drab. There is not a lot. I would grab my laptops. I have 2 of them now, and some sports cards, and Jesus, I am 41 years old, Marlin. That is what I could fit everything I have in a backpack and still have room to throw in a couple changes of clothes. Everything else could burn.
I would snag I'd grab my cat, obviously, and my great grandma's cuckoo clock off the wall, which I have hanging up in the living room. And after that, I don't know if I could grab one more thing. I don't know what it would be. Like I can't grab my record player. That's too heavy.
Cumbersome. Yeah.
Can't, do you grab like one record? Do I grab my autographed Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell off the wall? Maybe. It might be that one. Do I grab my audio mixer so that we can continue this podcast even though I'll be homeless? Probably. Maybe that's the thing to grab.
You in an alleyway recording a podcast would be so great.
Huddled around a barrel fire somewhere, just, oh God, we got to talk about Simpsons.
Yeah.
Episode 17 is Bart to the Future. The Simpsons are going out camping, but the mosquitoes are too bad, like way too bad, like apocalyptically bad.
Yeah.
They end up at a casino, and I feel like there's a lot of kind of didn't age so well Native American jokes here, but just bust right on past those. Bart is like trying to sneak in, which I feel like maybe it's just the one like native casino I've been to. down in Fort Yates, North Dakota, that like there's a whole section for minors. Like, I remember our family went down there one afternoon, and there's like a whole arcade where it's just like, here, jump your kids off in the arcade while you play the slots or whatever you're going to do.
Yeah. It's common now to have a hotel attached that has like a swimming pool or like a fun... Yeah, even the one south of Fargo, they have a tiny little arcade, but an arcade nonetheless.
Yeah, now that we're all vaxxed up, we oughta go get some gambling done.
Oof, yeah, boy, it instantly regret it.
Not if you do well. If you do well, you're like, yeah, that was the best decision I could have made today.
Yeah, but then some of us can't take well enough alone. We just got to keep pushing. Why do well when I could do weller?
Yeah. Oh, I lost it all. Look at that.
Yeah. Now I'm full of rage. So I'm going to go to the ATM and double it up. I'll show these cards.
Oh, buddy. Maybe you
show them all.
maybe we need to go together so I can ground you a little. Yeah. No, Nathan, you don't need to go to the ATM again.
Trying to shake money out of the ATM because my card is completely cashed.
As I'm just trying to settle you down because the pit boss is coming this way. I'm like, Nathan, let's get you in the car.
Which a pit boss from North Dakota would just be so, jeepers creepers, you guys. Come on, quit horsing around.
Horsing around. Come on, fellas.
Come on, guys, come on. There's enough macaroni salad in the buffet for all of us. Come on.
That's about enough of
My
that,
treat.
fellas. Okay.
Yeah.
Bart gets kind of tossed into this room with what I assume is like the head of the casino, and he's some manner of native mystic who shows Bart the future. He's kind of scolding him for his behavior and gives him kind of a if you keep heading down this path, here's what's going to happen sort of lesson. So the majority of this episode is a flash forward to the future.
Future Bart.
Yeah, and we get middle-aged Bart. I know you've expressed before, I do like an adult Bart because he's always kind of a loser.
All but one time. There's one where he's I think a judge or something.
Oh, yeah.
But every time else, he's not doing so hot. As one could have. Boy, he has a tragic little rat tail / ponytail in this one.
You like that?
Might have been the saddest thing about it. And you know what is optimistic is the fact that in the future, Ralphie can somehow live on his own. Because, boy, he must make some strides once puberty hits, because he has group home written all over him as a young boy.
He doesn't have a handler in his adult life, which is surprising. But yeah, middle-aged Bart is roommates with Ralphie. There are no towels, so Ralphie out of the shower has to dry himself with newspaper, which, I don't know that I've ever been that poor or that dirt doggy.
Yeah.
Bart's excited. He's going to play a gig. He's got a band, and he's going to play a gig at Nelson's, but he's got to get some money from his folks to get his guitar or his amplifier out of Hawk. So we see old Simpsons, old Marge and old Homer, which I don't care for the look of. Something about the wrinkled lips of those two characters. Yeah. I mean, it does its job of conveying that they are much older now, but it's like, they're not pleasant to look at.
And I like how now there's like a tree house shoddily nailed to the side of the Simpson house.
Yeah, like that's their addition somehow.
Yeah.
They turn him down. They're not giving him money. So he goes over to Flanders, and future Flanders is not only an old man now, but is completely blind, which is weird to see, I guess. Something about the look of old Flanders, like he wasn't as disconcerting as the old Simpsons, but still not great to look at. This whole episode I thought was a little like some of these older characters.
Not aging so hard.
Yeah, Flanders gives him the money. Also, keep in mind that where we're at in The Simpsons when Bart is young, Flanders is over 60 years old.
Yep, so he is probably pushing 90
in this. He's getting into Burns era age.
Yeah.
Flanders gives him the money. The gig goes very poorly. I like that they have a laser fence in lieu of chicken wire. Because it's the future and you gotta have lasers.
Yeah. I like how they're like a shitty Jimmy Buffett-esque, like
Yep. Of all the bands Bart would be a part of, I wouldn't have called that.
Yeah.
So the gig goes poorly. Ralph and Bart get evicted, and Bart decides he's gonna mooch off his sister, who, by the way, is the president. Lisa is president-elect. She gets sworn in. Bart shows up at the White House to mooch off of her. We get The Simpsons predicted the future moment when she is Lisa's meeting with her cabinet, and she says, they're talking about the budget, and she says, we've inherited quite the deficit from President Trump, which was salient. I was like,
very,
God damn,
my
Simpsons.
word, yeah. I knew that was coming, but I was like, yeah, wow.
Yeah,
spot on.
I had seen that screenshot before, and it was still like, God damn, Simpsons, all right.
Tip of the cap. You wish you would have predicted a utopia instead of a dystopia, but
start predicting better shit, please.
Yeah.
We get the family sitting around having dinner, and there's a moment where it's like, where's Maggie? And Marge pulls out baby Maggie, like we all know her to be. And I think it's Lisa says something along the lines of, like, who'd have guessed that Maggie would have her own daughter named Maggie? So that's not our Maggie. Our Maggie is somewhere else, apparently. And this is Marge's granddaughter, Maggie.
Because we've seen teenage Maggie. I don't know have we ever seen adult Maggie? I don't think we have.
I don't think so.
I think we've only seen surly teenage Maggie.
Yeah, was that the episode with the crystal ball lady that showed Lisa the future that one time?
Yeah, where Lisa's dating that British guy in college.
Yep, I think that's the one. Homer is on a quest to find Lincoln's gold, which he thinks is buried somewhere in the White House. Milhouse, I like that he is still around, is still part of Lisa's cabinet, and is still such a huge simp.
And just of all the Simpsons' age progression, Milhouse's is the most amazing. Like that baldness with sideburns combo is such a money look.
It's really something.
I hope we eventually come back around and men grow their hair out a little when they go bald. I miss that look. You know what I mean? Like, now it's just everyone, as soon as they lose a little hair, they just buzz it, which, hey, good for them too, I guess, whatever makes it feel good. But I miss a guy with just a big friar's ring of hair around their head. You know?
Nobody does the Costanza anymore. They just, they see it leaving and they shave their head. And that's the end of it.
Yep. That's a shame. Bring it back.
Yep. Hold on to what you got for as long as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. Bring the comb over
Hell
back.
Hell yeah, bring the comb over back. So yeah, Milhouse still got it bad for Lisa. What do you think of grown-up President Lisa?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. Like, the whole character, because, I mean, Lisa in these is just the straight man for shithead Bart, you know? So, and not a real dynamic character, I guess, but, I don't know, yeah.
And she's pretty much the same character that she is now. She's just taller.
Yep. Yep, exactly. With a more refined hair. Instead of spiked out, it's kind of a wave.
It's kind of Sonic the Hedgehog-y now.
Yep. Good call. Yeah.
She does a public address where she's kind of burying the fact that she's going to raise taxes, and Bart ruins that by deciding he should play guitar on her desk and inform everyone that it's actually a tax hike. So she sends Bart away because he needs to do a coolness report at Camp David. Yeah. So we see him getting some of his pals together to get a coolness report for Lisa.
The ghost of Billy Carter, I believe, visits them.
Yep, the ghost of Billy Carter shows up and lets him know that he's been had, because Billy Carter knows a little something about being the oafish idiot brother of the president.
We really haven't had one since Roger Clinton.
I was about to say, Roger Clinton's the only other one since Billy, and he didn't get to the level of Billy Carter.
Yeah. I mean, he was in the news, but Billy Carter was a cultural phenomenon.
He was a legit celebrity.
You go to any antique / secondhand store, someone will be selling a can of Billy beer.
Exactly. And like he was like that little town in what is it, Georgia, where the Carters are from, like became a hot spot. Like, oh, Jack Nicholson flew in for the weekend to hang out with Billy Carter.
No shit,
Yeah,
really.
it's a whole thing. The story of Billy Carter is fucking wild.
That's what we need more. We need more people with hillbilly roots being president.
Yep, get some more. I was about to agree with you, but then I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we're good.
They're all ran by a cabal of ultra elite billionaires, so we may as well get some comedy out of it.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, the die has been cast. We are going towards a hellscape, Marlin. We may as well get some unintentional comedy from it.
Now entering the chamber, President the Cable Guy.
Yeah. President, get her done.
President Lisa's meeting with some foreign debt collectors because the U.S. owes a bunch of money to all these different countries. But Bart gets them all off her back because Bart knows how to dodge people he owes money to. So he goes in and smooth talks everyone and gets them off of their back.
Oh, it's like a combination of kind of smooth talk and just outright lying.
Yeah.
Which we all know people that are good at that.
Yeah, a lot of I called you on Saturday and you weren't around. Check your mailboxes. I sent the checks. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Mail the wrong check to the wrong place on purpose. Oh shit! Really? Oh dang. Okay. Well, I'm sure I sent the other one to the other people.
Yep,
so
in order to buy yourself
get those
a
new
little
checks
time.
for you. Yep.
And that's about the time we stop with the future stuff. We get back to the present. The native mystic kind of sends Bart on his way with a coupon for crab claws, and and vanishes. And we get Bart and Lisa heading back out to the car, and that wraps up the episode.
Yeah, I did like that. I think Lisa just casually mentions like that mom lost $20,000, which I liked.
Yep, real casual too. Just I think it's like Dad pushed a security guard down and Mom lost $20,000.
Yeah. So I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do. Even these episodes that I don't find funny, I like that there's a canon that they'll go. Marge had a gambling problem 6 seasons ago.
Yep.
But they'll still, call back to that, which I like.
Still bring it up. Yeah, I do like that. I don't know. Not a lot here for me. I did like the Billy Carter appearance, and that's about it, I think.
Yeah, man. Oof. I'm with you.
It was fun to see grown-up Ralphie. We've never seen that before.
Yeah. And good for him.
Yeah, he's doing well.
He showers on his own. No one was helping him shower. He does it all by himself. Good for him. And yeah, man, using newspapers as a towel. I had roommates that used newspapers for toilet paper. That's not good either.
Jesus Christ, why? Buy some fucking toilet paper, you animals.
I finally had to tap out of living there because we were not 18, 19. They were in their mid-20s. I was in my late 20s. I got to go. And I came back to visit a few months later. I was like, man, we really miss having you around here. It's like, oh, that's nice of you to say. It's like, yeah, man, you were the only one that bought toilet paper, and we've been plowing through all those newspapers that you were going to recycle. We're almost out of those.
Jesus Christ.
You've got to be kidding me. Because I'd always, for some reason, I had a box underneath the sink in the bathroom. That's where I throw the newspapers with the goal of someday recycling them. And that never happened. But in a way, they were recycled and not how they're supposed to be.
Is newspaper a flushable thing?
No. I cannot imagine it is, and I'm sure at some point some poor person was living there and that toilet barfed up, 75 pounds of soiled newspaper.
Oh my God.
How outraged was that that maintenance guy that had to take care of that demon-possessed toilet?
Yeah. Septic tank full of fucking newspaper.
Oh my God, yeah. Not good.
I don't get the mentality. It's such a deadbeat guy cliche of you were the one that bought the toilet paper and then you were gone, so we just stopped using it. It's like, That sounds like something from a fucking sitcom that you'd be like, that's
totally
so dumb. Why don't they just buy toilet paper? Anyone can buy
would
it.
have the ambition to go to the gym and work their asses off, but could not stop and buy toilet paper.
What? I don't get it. You don't need a special license. They'll sell it to just anybody.
And they pretty much both worked about 10 to 15 hours a week.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So as you can imagine, I was struggling to keep my composure through a lot of this.
Well,
I had a lot of meltdowns like the mom on Malcolm in the Middle. Boys!
Well, I'm glad you graduated to living in basements and eating tuna in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Good for you, bud.
And there were plenty of times where I would just like finally blow my stack because it'd be like a Tuesday at like 6 a.m. and they'd still be just raging. I'd be like, guys, I don't think I'm asking a whole lot. Hey, could you maybe tap out at 5 a.m. on a weeknight instead of fucking going till 9 a.m., man? Like, because, I work nights, so I'd be up late, so I didn't even give a shit, like. I'd be scolding my friends, and then they'd be all sheepish, like, we're sorry.
And it's like, I'm not your parent. Why do you put me in this position?
Yep. Yeah. Good times. One of the roommates, all he had in his bedroom was a giant mountain of dirty clothes, which he slept on. But beside that was a smaller mountain of spare change because he was a bartender and would get coins for tips. So just two little anthills that was all he had to his name.
Just some fucking flop house. Jesus.
Yep. And then if he'd bring a lady home, he would have to discreetly beg one of the other roommates to use the bed.
Wow.
Which, that is a giving. I was never asked. I was kind of replaced me in the living situation, but like, that's friendship. Like, hey, can I sweat through your bed for half an hour?
I have friends I would take a bullet for, and I don't think I have any friends that I'd be like, yeah, use my bed. That's fine.
Yeah, make love to strangers in my bed.
Yeah, no.
I only sleep there 8 hours a night.
Yeah, no problem. I'll go do something else for a while. No,
at
not
5 in the morning.
Chance.
Go do some gardening. I haven't cleaned the patio windows in a while.
I just need to be
you guys
anywhere
go fuck
else.
I'll do that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell of a time to be alive.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yes. So speaking of trash people, this is a trash-centric episode. We're up to episode 18, Days of Wine and Dozes. The episode starts with Bart and Homer out rummaging through people's trash because it's trash night, which the timing of this couldn't be more, apt.
I thought the same thing.
It is Boulevard Treasure Hunt Week in Fargo, North Dakota, and boy, there is trash on the streets, and I watched a guy nonchalantly drive into someone's fucking yard to load up a bed. And man, as we've discussed, I am a dirt person. I will take anything secondhand, but you are on a whole other level if you're just casually loading up beds. Man. Yeah. If you're dragging a bed out to the patio or out to the balcony, Jesus Christ, out to the boulevard, third time's a charm, that bed is cashed out. That bed has seen some shit. Yeah. Like, if it's not even worth keeping in the spare room or anything, it's like, Jesus.
Yeah,
it's probably been rained on.
It's been amusing to drive around town for the last week or so, looking at all the treasures that are out there.
And I'm not going to lie, I've been looking for some end tables. I could use a couple new end tables.
Did you find anything? You'd get some shopping done?
I should have, but could use a coffee table.
I saw an elliptical machine that only had one handle, and I was like, how does that even happen? How hard are you going on an elliptical that you lose a handle?
Someone has used that thing to dry clothes for so long that a wet pair of jeans finally snapped that handle off.
Yep, that's one of those laundry ellipticals. Yeah.
Which, as I look look at my exercise bike and is holding a jacket right now.
Oh, buddy, come on.
Yeah.
You can hang that jacket anywhere. Let's get that off of there.
Let's dust that thing off.
I lived with a guy in my college years. Me and two other guys had a house, and he bought a Bowflex, and we spent all afternoon putting it together one day, and it never got touched ever again, other than to hang clothes from.
Yeah, and a Bowflex at least makes a good clothes hanging device because it's got a lot of parts sticking out of it.
It's got all those flexible rods that stick up and out.
Yeah.
It flares out like the Iron Throne in a way, so you can hang lots of stuff on it.
It's like a monument to laziness. Like it's just going to collect dust in a rec room or a basement somewhere.
Yep.
And going back to like the Simpsons, Homer and Bart rummaging through trash. I mean, there's a couple little gags here and there, but it just ends. And and it's not like it's just 20 seconds. It doesn't even really seem to like be a part of the episode at all. Like,
no, like,
you know what I mean?
He gets that tiki totem and sets it on fire, and that's it. So it seems like kind of a non-starter to the episode, and also feels like Homer and Bart rummaging through other people's garbage for treasures seems like something you could do a lot with, and they didn't do anything with it.
Because then the next thing, it's just them at the bar, and then they're discussing the birthday party of Barney's and how much of a pathetic drunk he is. And I mean, there's some good gags there. I did like that the sad sack drunks that you always see at the bar were at the Simpsons house for his birthday party. I thought that was nice.
Boy, they really dunk on poor Barney during this whole sequence.
He's a real mess.
Yeah, Barney. But guys, Barney needs help. You can't you guys just being like, you fucking loser isn't helping anything.
One thing I thought was good too is earlier on, we do see Comic Book Guy dumping a big batch of She-Hulk versus Leon Spinks crossover comics in the trash, which is such a great idea for a crossover.
Yeah, that's a very specific crossover.
You ever buy physical comics anymore? Like go to the comic book shop and buy an issue?
Never single issues. If I like something enough or it comes out in a cool edition, I'll get a collection, like a trade paperback of something. Or hey, this came out in this hardcover edition. Sure, if I like it enough. But all of my singles, I haven't read singles comics in so fucking long. I've always been a wait for the trade guy.
Oh, see, I like comics. I like just smelling them and the advertisements and shit. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
but I buy like a one-off in a comic book shop on a whim. Like, that's a cool cover. And then I read it. I have no context what's going on. It's like, well, that was it.
I have a subscription to Marvel Unlimited on the iPad, which is like $10 a month. And it's not everything that Marvel has ever done, but it's a lot. Which is cool.
Yeah.
So I'll read singles that way. But that's really about it. I'm mostly a trade and collection kind of guy. Like every so often, Stan Sakai will put out a new volume of Usagi Yojimbo, and I'll go pick that up, But very rarely the singles.
Barney has realized how sloppy he is, and he vows to never drink again, which elicits laughter from his fellow drunks at the bar.
Bunch of fucking dicks.
God damn it. Yep. Barney is committed, so he's really sticking to it. He's going to change his life around, which is good. And kind of the side story is there's a contest for the creating the cover for the Springfield phone book, which, man, it's wild that we still bother making phone books. I mean, at this time, 20 years ago, it made sense, but I'm pretty sure they still give them out every year.
Yeah, once a year, there is one laying at my door in my apartment building, which is just like, it's insulting. It's like, here, you throw this away. And then I do.
I have, at least in the last 15 years, have used a phone book far more often to stand on to change a light bulb than I have to ever look anything up in it. So they do serve a purpose.
Man, you tall motherfucker, that's all the boost you need is one phone book.
It does. That is the proper amount of boost that it doesn't hurt to change a light bulb that's at a weird angle. Like,
Man, not me. I gotta get on a chair, and then I'm terrified because I'm scared of heights.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah. Whoa,
I'm all fucking knock-kneed and sweating, whimpering.
Like you're on a high dive. Pigeon toed.
Yeah, I'm like Ralphie with his ear stuck to his shoulder. Just
Yeah. So
boy, I wish that were a joke. Oh man.
Well, he won't take your hands off the backrest. It's like you can't change the bulb without doing that.
Yeah, no, it's a whole ordeal for me to change a light bulb.
I'm picturing a football coach in your kitchen berating you as you attempt to do that. What's the matter, boy? Afraid of heights?
Yeah, no, I just hear my dad's voice in my head, and he's real impressed.
If you could stand up straight, you wouldn't need that chair. Crouched over too much of those damn video games.
Oh, too real. Too real.
Moving on.
We gotta go. I sure like slick-haired Barney. I do like the look of slick-haired Barney.
Yeah.
Like we saw him get sober briefly when he was an astronaut or going to be an astronaut, if you remember.
Good call.
And God, do I love slick-haired Barney. It's a good look.
Yep. And he's decided to become a chopper pilot, which is awesome. What a great thing to decide to do with your sobriety. I like that.
Yeah, well, Moe got him that gift certificate for a free lesson for his birthday as a joke. Yeah, and then,
as a gag.
Can you imagine this drunk fucking slob getting a fucking helicopter? Jesus Christ, Moe.
Yeah. And I mean, the guy that was doing the chopper school was what you expected him to be, but I thought that was fun. Yeah, like with the sunglasses and that voice,
and the mustache. That's what that dude should look and sound like.
Yeah. So he was fun, and then Moe kind of regrets all of the convincing Barney to go sober, because now the bar is struggling because Barney was by far the best customer, and he uses the line, "This bar is gonna have to go queer." Like, holy guacamole! Yeah. Even for the year 2000, that's rough. This bar is gonna have to go queer.
And then it pans over to that effeminate thin fellow being like, "What this? It's not," or whatever he says. Sure. All right.
Yeah, like an effeminate British man. Yeah. So, and then kind of what the answer is they just have Homer fill the role of the bar's absolute piss pants drunk, which we get we get Homer sadly doing a drunken dance.
Yeah.
He's real sad about. They all get a kick out of it. It's like, I got a little bit of a chuckle out of
Dance
that.
Dance for us, Rummy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think this song he would sing. It was always good. Just this pathetic little dance. He wasn't even drunk. Yeah. but he can't not have their affection, so he has to do it.
I like that when he first gets there and Moe's grooming him almost. He's like,
yep. Here's your seat.
Yeah, no, Homer, why don't you sit over here? We're right by the taps, but that's Barney's seat. Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah. And he still goes along with it because he has no self-esteem.
Yep. Just gets run right the fuck over.
So Homer is slowly morphing into Barney. Barney's slowly morphing into a functioning adult. Lisa and Bart are still kind of in the middle of trying to think of an idea. They got an old camera they found, so they're going to try to take a picture and find something they could put on the Springfield phone book for the contest. Oh my God. Also, at one point, Homer is in the Quickie Mart and he asks, "Hey, do you have those potato chips that give you diarrhea?" And it brought me right back to, this was exactly that 1 year or so that they had them on the market. Do you remember Wow chips?
I do remember this. Yep. I had the same reaction. Like, oh boy, I haven't thought of this in a while.
They pushed the shit out of those. Coming back around to that, it's very funny because they pushed the shit out of the consumer that ate them. Wow chips were diarrhea fuel. Like they thought that was going to be the answer. Like we have diet soda, now we have diet chips. But when I drink a Diet Coke, I don't destroy the insides of my car because I shit liquid fire everywhere.
I forget what was the ingredient. It was
Olestra.
There we go. I kept wanting to say Oleander, but that's a band.
Yeah.
Well, and a thing. It's not just a band.
Yeah. I bought that Oleander's Big CD right before I moved to Tennessee, and I played it pretty much the 30-hour drive there.
Yeah, congratulations. You've listened to more Oleander than literally anyone else.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, I can probably rank like in their, somehow I'm not the president of their fan club, but I should be like the secretary or the treasurer.
I think you're an honorary
the parliamentarian.
Member. Yes, the parliamentarian.
of our Zoom Oleander fan club meetings. Hey, you're not using parliamentary procedure. Here's what you should have said.
Why isn't everyone wearing their jackets? Come on, guys.
Yeah. Without rules, we have nothing.
I forget the context of it, but I forget who says it to who even. But there's a line in this episode right around this time. Somebody says, "Old friends stick together like the Falcon and the Snowman," and holy shit, have I not thought about that in a long time. Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie or know that story?
It's Clint Eastwood, isn't it?
No, it's Timothy Hutton and Sean Penn.
Oh, okay.
It's from 85, and it's based on a true story of these fucking cokeheads who were like trafficking coke back to America while selling CIA secrets to the KGB in Mexico or something. It is a fucking insane true story that one of the guys ended up writing a book about it, and then they ended up making a movie with Sean Penn and Timothy Hutton. But just a fucking wild story. And I when that line came across in The Simpsons, I was like, holy shit, what a fucking deep fucking cut.
That is combining a lot of illicit activities into one thing.
It's insane. It's a crazy ass story that you gotta fucking read about. And the movie's all right, but the story itself is much like a lot of that stuff. The true story was better than the fiction is.
Timothy Hutton, underrated actor.
Yeah, easily forgettable. Like someone who I never remember ever.
I enjoy him in things. Yep. Sean Penn doesn't pop up in shit much. And that's something by his own design, but and Sean Penn's batting average is pretty damn good too. He's made some good movies over the years.
I feel like I only ever hear about Sean Penn in some manner of activist role anymore, and never in a movie.
Yeah, seems like he's a movie every 5 years. He's like the Tool of actors. Well, no, yeah. If it was Tool, there'd be like weird promises of movies that never happen.
Yeah, while he's pumping out these side projects when everyone, hey, there's a new Pussifer album. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah. We don't want that.
I mean, I do want that because Pussifer is actually pretty great, and the new album is very fucking good. But yes, it's not what we're here for, Maynard.
Yeah. The best is it took 15 years, and there's a new Tool album out. I haven't listened to it yet.
I don't think it's very good.
That sucks.
Sadly.
When something just seems like it's like, okay, here, fine, here's an album. It's like, boy, that's tough to, I don't expect that to be good.
Yeah. Boy, way off the fucking road here.
Yep. So the kids have decided to go up into the Springfield Mountains, which again, they have mountains now apparently.
Anything you need.
And they're trying to get a picture. They want some nature shot that'll get them the top spot so they'll get on the cover of the phone book. And they inadvertently end up starting a forest fire, which quickly gets out of control. And turns out, Homer sees it at the bar. It's advertised, or it's on the news that Bart and Lisa are trapped on top of the mountain as it's burning. So, who has a helicopter? Who does Homer know that has a helicopter? This is coming together pretty easily. It is our old pal, no longer drunk Barney. So the two of them decide, and Barney's like, I can't do this. I haven't finished my training, and they end up having to park on the goddamn bridge And there's a truck a beer truck that tips over, which like, come on, God, man, we don't need this for Barney right now. And Barney's nerves, he needs some beer to calm them. But Homer, ever the friend, drinks when he drinks that 6-pack at once.
Jumps on the grenade for his buddy Barney.
Yep. How drunk he gets is pretty good.
Pretty instantaneously, too.
Yeah.
Now, I can't say as I've ever drank 6 beers at once, but it seems like it hits him pretty quickly.
I once drank 6 beers in 10 minutes, just to, like in a contest.
Woof.
And it's not good for you. Like I felt like a part of my brain freeze, because that's what hurt, was how cold it was. It wasn't. We didn't. I didn't use a bong. Some of the other people used a bong. I did the thing where you stab a hole in the top of the can, so it almost works like a carburetor. So you can just pour it right down your throat.
Oh, okay, like not quite a shotgun, but a
in case there's any burgeoning teenage alcoholics that want to hear.
If you want some instruction,
I always found that more dignified than the shotgunning. The shotgunning is so sloppy.
Yeah, shotgunning is so messy. I'm not into that.
Yeah.
I've never been
Whereas
much of a beer bong
refined
guy either. I can drink beer without apparatus, not to brag.
When I was a kid, the novelty of a beer bong was. I remember, one of the first times first 20 times I ever got drunk was off a beer bong that I built from supplies I bought at the local hardware store. I was awfully proud of that.
There's something about a beer bong that is just at its core unappealing to me, because it's like, hey gang, let's gather around and all put our mouth on this thing. It's like, I think I'm fine.
I remember driving out, like it was like, I don't know, 5 p.m. wherever. I hadn't been out of school that long. Beautiful summer day, just like today, or spring day, because we were still in school. Driving in my buddy's vehicle and leaning out the window and beer bonging a beer in a moving car. And it's like, this is what living's all about right now.
Doesn't get any better than this, baby.
It honestly probably hasn't.
Each day is the last good one.
Yeah, because I remember when he's like, let's do it out the window, so in case the seal breaks, we won't get beer all over the inside of this car. And by God, we did. And that beer bong worked flawlessly. And what a day. What a day, Marlin.
For teenage drinking, that's some pretty forward thinking. That's pretty that's a responsible train of thought.
Yeah, we were weirdly resourceful in some ways.
Oh, you want to beer bong a beer while we're driving? Well, I mean, yeah, but do it out the window. We're not a bunch of animals.
Yeah, I don't want this car to smell like beer. That would be uncouth. So Homer is completely shithoused, but Barney still has his nerves and does a hell of a job piloting that goddamn helicopter, because by now Bart and Lisa are trapped in a tree on a burning mountain, and Homer ends up hanging from the helicopter kind of inadvertently, but that is just enough length where they're able to save the kids. And they are holding on by one drunk Homer toe is all that's holding them from a fiery death. But Barney's able to pilot them back to safety, and all's well that ends well.
Yeah, we get them back. And Barney now is hooked on coffee. I like that he just replaced beer with coffee.
Yep. Which is sold to him by none other than Moe Sislak. Because Moe is a vile human being.
Yeah, who's going to keep Barney on any hook he can get him on.
Yeah. It still baffles me that whole bit at the beginning with them digging through the trash
was for nothing
to do with the plot.
Yeah.
Boy, that's something that like season 5 Simpsons writers would have just been aghast by. But at this point, it's like, hey, we need to get an episode done.
Yeah. Also, Marge wins the photo contest by submitting a photo of
them on the toilet when they're kids.
Yeah, baby Bart and baby Lisa naked on the toilet.
Yeah, which I thought was a nice touch. It's such a mom thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
Pretty middle.
That summed it up.
Pretty middle. Whatever that sound that just fell out of me is. You put it on the box. Put it on the poster.
You put as much effort creating that sound as they did creating that episode, so that's pretty apt.
The ending, I thought, had a real Mr. Plow vibe with, Homer being an idiot and Barney being the only one that can get up the mountain and save the kids,
Good call, yep.
Except not nearly as funny as Mr. Plow, because Mr. Plow was great.
God, yeah. We've just reached that point, man. Like, I mean, we'll let the next 2 episodes speak for themselves, but you can sense if you've in these 40-odd episodes of America's Barley Basket, you can probably tell by the tone of my voice that I am not enthused by this batch.
This next one, probably my favorite of the bunch. It's called Kill the Alligator and Run, and I don't understand, outside of Take the Money and Run, I don't know what that would be referencing.
Has to be the only reference I can think to, yeah.
But it doesn't, like, that's not a good joke,
Nope.
then.
No. Which is a recurring theme.
Yeah. We start off, Homer has gotten his self-test magazine that's just like, apparently just a magazine full of quizzes to tell you about yourself. He takes one that reveals that he only has 3 years left to live. And I do like this paranoid, oh God, I'm gonna die Homer. Like, he's so fucking obsessed with his own mortality that he can't sleep, he can barely function. He's just falling apart.
He thinks Charlie Rose is coming to kill him.
Yep. Yep. He's just freaking the fuck out, not doing well. Ends up on the couch of the factory shrink at work, who sends him to Florida to relax. He thinks that that'll do Homer some good. Homer, they're on the way down there. Homer's just sitting in the Marge is driving, and Homer's sitting in the shotgun seat, like with a blanket wrapped around him and holding a sports pennant that says "mental" on it.
Yeah, I like I did enjoy the recurring. I guess we've only seen it twice now. The pennant gag.
Yeah. We saw one. What was it, last week?
This awards.
Yeah, the awards pennant. So they get down to Florida, where he's supposed to be able to spend some nice, soothing, relaxing time, but it turns out it is motherfucking spring break.
Yeah.
So not a lot of relaxing, but Homer seems to snap to life pretty quickly.
If I can say anything about this is a good premise.
Yeah.
Like the whole, like, oh man, it was supposed to be relaxing, but it's spring break. You know, that's a funny premise. So.
Yep. And Homer is immediately in party animal mode. He hops out and helps the mob flip the fucking car. Marge and the kids are going to go do a little sightseeing, so they tie Homer to the bed, like, just with a belt.
Misery style.
Yeah, with a belt on each appendage, tie him to the bed. I like that does not work at all, and he ends up hopping out the door and then gets picked up by some hitchhikers who put the bed on top of the car that they're in. But he's not going to be tied down. He's going out to fucking party. We get a shot of an MTV VJ, which is something I had forgotten existed.
Yeah, man. Like, I had some questions. Like, do you think MTV covers spring break, or do they cover are there VJs anymore? Do they is anything, Marlin? Being back home, my parents still have cable. When I was home during the beginnings of COVID, like, basic cable has just devolved into, like, all it is reruns of whatever show will get the most minuscule boost in ratings. Like, there's no, like, besides like AMC and HBO, like the others, like the Viacom shit, they have just devolved into what's the cheapest thing we can air 3-hour blocks of that will get us some. Like, it's depressing. Like, MTV has nothing prestige left at all. Like, man, maybe they do an award show once or twice a year, but that's it. Like, I don't even know if they have any live employees anymore. It could all just be a computer program that's choosing this shit at this point. Like,
yeah, I have no idea. I'm so separated from cable television at this point. I don't even know what they're airing anymore.
What I like is that shows like The Voice in America's Got some fucking hayseed 14-year-old girl can come sing a rendition of Sweet Home Alabama, and it's the #1 rated show in America. Yet there isn't even a basic cable channel that can fucking apparently make ends meet by showing an actual Lynyrd Skynyrd concert from the 70s when they were like the most greatest band on earth. Like, how is that not a thing that people can watch? Like, live music is not on television at all anymore. Like,
no, and live music makes for good ass television, like concert footage.
Yes, it does. Yes, very good point. Yeah.
I wonder if, I mean, obviously not during COVID, but I wonder, are people still producing concert footage videos? Like I own a fucking Killers concert in England on Blu-ray from like 10 years ago at this point. Like, are people still putting those out? Do those exist?
Good question. Yeah, like so much of like, you know, like so much of the top 40 stuff nowadays, they're not like touring acts, you know, like, I mean, the giant ones like an Ariana Grande are, but like a lot of the rappers, they're probably not big on touring, you know, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what that world even is anymore.
It's so interesting. Like, but where do they make money? Because nobody buys physical media anymore. But like,
and they don't get shit for money from like Spotify. Those companies are horrible to the artists.
But I mean, I guess when you're as big as they are and you're literally having billions of downloads, you're probably, even if you're only getting a fraction of a penny of each download or each play, I guess you're probably making decent money. But like, not like, I just listened to an interview with the two remaining Beastie Boys, and they talked about like, they asked like, how would it differ now if you guys were 19 now instead of 19, you know, like in 1985? He's like, well, first off, we were lucky to come up when we did because we sold enough copies of License to Ill that we didn't have to worry about money. Like, they both like, I don't know what you would do now. Like, no one buys albums. So like we were able to take 3 years and make Paul's Boutique, you know, like, and not have to, we didn't have to fall under the pressure of creating another, you know, fucking Fight for Your Right Part 2, you know, like, because we didn't need the money, which is nowadays they absolutely would. Like,
yeah, and then how do you make the money? Is it touring? It's got to be touring.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
You know, like you look at these bands who, you know, were big in the late 90s. Like a couple years ago, I went to the fucking Goo Goo Dolls in concert because hell yeah, the Goo Goo Dolls. But secondly, it's like, these guys could probably use some fucking ticket sales, man. Like, what is that band? How is that band staying afloat if they didn't save their money?
Yeah, but I won't even shed any tears for those bands. It's the band that started in 2015 that's fucked. You know, that never got to dip their toe in the money of, you know, 90s, early 2000s CD sales. Like,
yeah, it's a good point.
I think someone pointed out to me that Candlebox sold more physical albums than the White Stripes did.
Jesus.
Which is that's sobering.
Yeah. I mean, that's the difference in the times though, right? That just illustrates that. Boy, that's fucking wild.
That the 37th biggest band of 1995 sold more albums than the biggest band of 2006, you know, like.
Yeah, it was different times. I like that this VJ who's hosting Spring Break has the gem in her hand go off, the gem from Logan's Run, and she's like, what? No, I'm only 25, and they come drag her away.
Which 25 makes sense because 25 used to be the age cutoff for Real World.
Oh, really? Okay. I never watched Real World or Road Rules. I've never never seen an episode.
They figured out it was good laying on the floor because you're hungover on a Sunday afternoon binge watching basic cable TV. Like, you know, there's just enough. But I mean, it took them a while. I mean, the early seasons, they were hit and miss because they actually got normal kids. But then I think there's one, this was when I was still in high school. We didn't have cable, but I think it's like the season 4 of Real World where they're in London. Someone told me about it. It's like, yeah, man, they just like accidentally picked 7 well-adjusted college-age people. So most episodes is just them casually reading in the apartment. Just so great. And there's like all this forced drama that just didn't fit. So then after that, they just got a bunch of fucking, you know, narcissistic animals on the show.
They just,
you know, with
just
substance
casted
abuse
psychopaths
issues.
from then on out.
Yep. And hey, to their credit, that made some gangbusters TV.
So Homer's at this big concert, and we get the sultry vocal sounds of Josie, who I have not heard that voice in a long time.
I had forgotten about Joe C. My goodness.
Yeah, pour one out for Josie, because he's been deceased for what feels like a long time now.
Probably?
Yeah. And he is there because motherfucking Kid Rock is performing, and we get some Ba with the Ba, which I will fucking go to my grave defending that song. That song fucking rips. I love Ba with the Ba.
Yeah, I've always known that you have a few things about Marlon Wells you can count on. One of them is a staunch support of Kid Rock, at least early era Kid Rock. I don't know if you're down with like the Leonard Skinner light shit he's been putting out for the last dozen years.
Absolutely not. My Kid Rock love begins and ends with that album. Like, I'll defend that album as being, like, masterpiece is a strong word, but it's fucking good.
Fucking Bull God's a good song, man. I'll stand up for Bull God.
Yeah, and Fists of Rage is a great song.
Which is referenced in this episode.
It is, which I thought was rad.
I even liked American Badass off that B-sides that came out right after this, too.
Yeah, and like I also really like that song. But yeah, that's the only good thing on the history of rock that's not a good record.
That was totally a cash-in. Like, holy shit, this guy is unsuspectedly huge. We gotta put something out.
And we gotta do it now. And it's like, I don't know, I got all these demos and B-sides
that are terrible, but we're gonna have you create one new song. And I don't even know if I like that song. I just love the sad but true guitar riff.
Yeah,
that is such a fucking earworm of a riff.
It's just straight up lifted straight out of Metallica's Sad But True. But yes, that song is fucking great. But Ba with the Ba, and it was at this time, like this aired at the end of April in 2000. That song was inescapable. That song was, like, all through 99 and 2000 was on MTV and VH1 every 22 minutes.
God, was it ever. And at this time, a kid I went to high school with, we called him Teen Wolf, and he did not like that nickname. And you can replace Kid Rock with Teen Wolf in the chorus of that song to a comedic effect, which he despised. My name is Teen.
Oh, my God.
He hated it. Like, one of us would just start doing the Ba with the Ba part quietly, and then it would slowly build, and then he'd finally notice, and he'd be like, Jesus Christ, you guys. And he knew if he didn't let it end, if he physically assaulted us, it would just never end.
Yeah.
As soon as he quit punching, we would just start again. So he just realized, let it end, let it reach its natural conclusion, and then we'll go on with our lives.
Yeah. Bully logic. Just let
him. It totally was.
Let them get it out of their system. You're not going to stop it.
And around the same time, one of the Minot, North Dakota radio stations changed its name to 105.3 Wolf Country, which we logically assumed that he must have bought a radio station. So one time when his dusty pickup was sitting unattended, someone took the time to very nicely write, almost like in fancy graphics in the dirt, 105.3 Wolf Country FM from tail light to headlight, one whole side of the pickup.
Jesus.
I don't have a lot to do back home.
Pretty bored in Botno, North Dakota. Oh, God.
Even at a wolf howling at the moon, it was really nice.
Homer is escorted away from this concert after he drinks out of their oversized 40 that they're going to pour out. The cop, by the way, played by Diedrich Bader, who it's always fun for him to show up in stuff.
Yeah.
I like him. Ever since the Drew Carey show, I like him.
God, yeah, he's in an interesting, pops up in the most random shit, like he's in Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
He's in a movie
Space.
that I really enjoy. Oh, God, what is he in Office Space?
He's the neighbor of the What Would I Do with $1 Million? Two chicks at the same time. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. He's also in a movie I enjoy called Balls of Fury.
Is that the ping pong movie?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I've never seen that.
Oh, man. It's on the surface, you would assume it's trash, but it has some. It's written by talented people. It's like a lot of the Reno 911 guys are behind it.
Oh, okay. That I didn't know.
Yeah, it is. There is some great bits in that movie. Holy shit! I was like now thinking about it, it's like I need to watch that movie again. Like Christopher Walken is like that crime czar, like the leader of this illegal underground ping pong tournament. And if you watch it with the commentary, they discuss, it's Thomas Lennon and is it Ben Gerard, like kind of the creative force behind Reno 911. They also wrote that. They talk about, holy shit, Christopher Walken's going to be at our movie. Like he showed up on set and like, oh, Christopher, this is it's an honor. We're gonna have so much fun. Things. I've highlighted some parts on the script. We did a few tweaks and he's like, I handed him the script. He looked at me, winked, and just kind of gave me that look like he would give like an overexcited 4-year-old nephew, and just handed me back the script and walked to his trailer. It's like he never looked at the script the whole fucking time. It's like, and every fucking time he knocked it out of the park. It's like he just did whatever his inner muse told him to do, and it was great.
At some point, if you're Christopher Walken, you can just do that.
Yep, because he is playing Christopher Walken in that movie.
That's why you cast him. Yeah,
he's been playing Christopher Walken for 20 years now.
Yeah, I think ever since More Cowbell, he's just played Christopher
Walken. Good point. I was like, when did that change? But it is right around there.
Mid-90s, yeah.
Yeah, mid to late 90s, yeah.
The Homer is dragged away from that concert by Diedrich Bader, the policeman, and brought back to the hotel. And we got easily my biggest laugh of the week right here. He kind of, drunken Homer comes stumbling into the hotel room and he goes, Marge, guess how many boobs I saw today? And then waits a beat and says, 15. And Christ, did I laugh at the odd number of boobs.
Yeah.
It's a very simple, dumb joke that, for whatever reason, really got a hold of me.
Yep. I remember when he said it, like my inner comic was like, it had better be an odd number. Like I remember thinking that. Like
my inner comic was not alert at the moment, so
you were just clapping.
Yeah, just caught completely off guard. Homer, it seems to be cured of his craziness and fear of mortality, and heads outside only to find that spring break is over. But he wants to keep the party going.
Yeah, he says when it's over. I
like that he, throughout this episode, has a real fucking love for "We Built This City," which is a song that I fucking do not like at all. Man. But so they're out on an airboat. He's singing that song, and he hits and kills kind of the county mascot, which is this alligator named
Captain Jack.
Captain Jack. Yeah. Homer hits him with the boat and kills him. The family is arrested, but they escape. They're driving away on a chase with the police, and Homer, there's the moment where he beats the train through the crossing, only to immediately get hit by a different train going the other way.
Which appears to be an Amtrak train, which I thought was funny that they took the time to put the red, white, and blue Amtrak paint on that train. But I guess it is kind of hinted upon when halfway through the accident, Homer crawls up out of the car into the train to go to the snack cart. Yep. So I guess that makes sense.
Brings them back snacks, yeah. And I like the visual joke that the train just keeps pushing the car down the fucking tracks. They end up at this diner out in the woods, and they they get jobs there at the diner and settle into their little hillbilly lives.
Yeah.
They're whittling. There's a lot of whittling, embracing the simple life out in the hillbilly woods, until the sheriff shows up and takes them away and puts them on a chain gang. This episode, this whole back half, really goes completely out of... We were just at spring break. Just 10 minutes before this.
We're getting a lot in a little amount of time. They start a new life, and that new life ends within a 90-second span.
Yeah, we're covering a lot of ground. So they get put on the chain gang. I did like adorable Maggie with her tiny hammer on the chain gang.
Yep.
Everyone's, classic getting whipped and swinging their sledgehammers, breaking rocks, and then you have Maggie with a tiny hammer. They get pulled aside to serve drinks and appetizers at the fancy party of the judge who put them away, and just kind of in the middle of the party while they're planning an escape, Captain Jack the Alligator shows up, and they're like, "Oh, I guess he's still alive. You're free to go." And
I was so fucking mad, Marlin. That's such lazy horse shit writing. And for them not to even acknowledge it, because the Simpsons will usually acknowledge when they take the easy way out, like a character will point out the inconsistencies, but it's like, it's just so fucking common now for the writing to be subpar that they can't do it every time. Where people are like, wait a second, this show sucks. I was so fucking mad at that. Like
it was really something. They just punch out of it, just like,
yep.
Oh, there. Why is the gator there? Why is the gator alive? Why do they just get to go then? It's,
so fucking dumb.
Yeah, it was really something. But we get one of our favorite things, because the episode ends with them back in Springfield with a map of the United States and most of the states crossed off, just like, well, that only leaves Arizona and North Dakota as any states that'll take us in. And somebody makes a joke about how they don't want to go to Arizona, so they cross that off, and it's like, North Dakota, here we come. That's the only state we're allowed in. And they make the easy, lazy joke of Bart going, I can't wait to see Mount Rushmore. Well, that's in South Dakota, and that's kind of the end of the episode.
Yeah, and just kind of the sadness that washes over him when he realizes there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's we get a North Dakota reference on The Simpsons, which we always like, but it is that is how we wrap that one up.
I get that a lot at work too. Like, oh, Mount Rushmore, huh? Like, nope, that's the other Dakota. Like, oh,
I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because why would anyone know anything about either Dakota? But it surprises me how often people genuinely make that mistake.
Oh yeah, constantly. But like, yeah, think of how little Mount Rushmore crosses a person's mind.
True.
If you grew up in like Arkansas,
Yeah.
like,
yeah. And if all you know about Mount Rushmore is what you were taught in second grade,
Yep, exactly. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
But yeah, that wraps up that one. I don't care for the ending, like you said. I think it's real horrible fucking writing that they just, well, that's it. But I like the first half of that episode more than I like most of these, and that carried me through a lot of it. All that spring break shit and the fucking jokes about VJs and Kid Rock and all that stuff with Homer's mental breakdown in the beginning is pretty funny. So that the front half did a lot of heavy lifting. Yeah,
that's my note for that one says, Christ almighty, this batch of episodes is dud city. But I did enjoy the North Dakota reference. And you take North Dakota out of it, I just thought it was funny. Like, just like that. Oh boy, and then it's just the sadness and the silence that washes over it.
Yeah, it was good. I liked that one.
It was a good dunking on North Dakota,
yeah, for sure.
So we are up to the last episode of this batch, episode 20, Last Tap Dance in Springfield. And I know that plays, I think it's like Last Ticket to Something is what that's playing on, but I don't know what that reference is, and frankly, as little effort they're putting into writing these, I'm going to put as much effort into figuring out what they're referencing here. So one thing I bet you enjoyed at the beginning was the Cyborganizer, the RoboCop office assistant.
Yep, the OCP has branched out into organizing and administrative work, which I laughed at, and I like the little kid RoboCop that's there too, the Robo son or whatever he calls him.
Yep. And I find it hilarious because less than a month ago, you and I were on our friend Joe's podcast, Joe Quest, where we discussed this very topic of them extending RoboCop technology to other professions. So.
Yep. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts, Joe Quest 200, or on YouTube. And yes, we discussed this exact thing.
Yeah.
And I really got a laugh out of it.
Like, what are the odds? So, and I don't know if it's mentioned and I missed it, but for some reason, Homer is like inches away from the TV when he's watching this. Is it just because his eyes are bad? Is that what they're referring to?
Yes, and that's the catalyst for, what happens from here. He goes to the mall to go to the optometrist.
Yep. Gets him to the mall, and then, it's funny, man. I was nostalgic for mall shopping. It is wild how irrelevant shopping malls have become. I mean, also, I'm not their target demographic, but they're struggling nationwide,
Yeah. I mean,
malls are just
there's a
desolate.
mall here. You can go to a mall, buddy, if you want to.
Yeah. It's sad now when you see the empty stores. It's like, man, malls used to be a hot ticket. Like you would fight to get in and pay those inflated rents to have a store in the mall. But man,
it would be one of the most exciting aspects of going to Bismarck as a kid. Like, we're going to get to go to the mall.
Fuck yeah, man. God, going to the mall was when you were like 14, there was nothing better than going to the mall.
We're going to get Husky Jeans at Herberger's, and if we have time, we can go across the hall to Suncoast and look at movies.
Yeah. God, and I've discussed it on this podcast, the mall in Minot, North Dakota. Shout out to Dakota Square. Pound for pound, the greatest mall in America. Because if you were a 14-year-old weird kid, because he had a comic book shop and a baseball card shop.
Nice.
And you had the movie theater right there and a pretty kick-ass food court, all within 75 fucking feet of each other.
Look at you go.
2 music stores, which you would then use to look through the choices and then go buy it at the Target that was attached because the records were $5 cheaper there. That fucking place, man, I tell you. Weirdly, though, didn't have a Suncoast. I don't know what was going on there.
Really?
I would have spent so much money buying overpriced VHS tapes of shitty horror movies. So thank you, Suncoast, for not setting up shop in Minot, North Dakota.
we had a Suncoast, and we had before it was GameStop, it was Funko Land. We had a Funko Land. Eventually, I think the Suncoast turned into an FYE for your entertainment.
Oh, really? Interesting.
And then that became like, we have movies and CDs and movie posters and like everything entertainment related.
It is wild how irrelevant CDs have become, too.
Pretty sure I bought Salivas every 6 seconds at that FYE.
Good. Glad to hear that. Mm-hmm. That is...
I had to. I saw Click Click Boom on VH1 one morning, and just had to have the rest of it.
I need to have that in my home.
Yeah, I need to
have that on demand.
I need to hear what else Josie Scott has to say.
This guy keeps this up.
I met that band once in my early radio days, and Josie Scott, one of the most delightful rock stars I ever got to meet. Like such a grounded, nice guy.
Yep, good for them.
Yeah.
But so they're enjoying everything that a mall has to offer, while Homer is going through the eyeglass thing, where we get the gag of him choking Bart, and while having the eye vision test thing up to his eyes.
Yeah, number 1 or number 2, better or worse? Yeah. I fucking hate that thing. I don't like going to the optometrist at all.
I have spent so many hours of my life in that chair that it is just old hat at this point.
I always feel like 90% of the like, is that better or worse, flipping the lens thing, I feel like 90% of it, there's no change at all. So I'm just like, I don't know, 1, and then I feel like that sends me down this branch that is not good at all. I feel like I'm getting the test wrong. I feel like I'm failing a test whenever I go to the optometrist.
I am so comfortable there because of the familiarity. I just tell them the truth. They're the same. Like, I can't see a difference. I think they appreciate the honesty, Marlin.
I also don't like the air puffer that blows air in your eye.
They've removed that. It's been replaced with a newer technology.
Fucking not last time I went to the optometrist, which was less than a year ago.
Well, are you going to Walmart, Marlin?
I am going to Walmart. Should I go to a real optometrist?
They're using old Cold War shit there. You got some Czechoslovakian.
Stare at this picture of a barn in the distance, and we're going to puff air in your eye. God, I hate that thing.
The last time I was at the eye doctor, probably like 3 years ago, I was like, how come I don't get the glaucoma eye puff? Say, yeah, you do, man, but that's what that last test was. We don't use the air puff anymore. There's a new technology. But
well, shit.
he should have leaned over there. We sell all that old horse shit to Walmart.
Maybe I need to switch eye doctors. Maybe I need a real optometrist.
I hope there's someone like prodding your eye with a stick. Yep, very firm.
Also, I wear contacts, so I have to get an eye exam once a year, or else they won't sell you new contacts. If you run out of contact lenses and you haven't had an eye exam in less than a year, they won't sell them to you, so you have to go get another eye exam. So I go once a year like clockwork, and my prescription has not changed in like 5 years. I wonder if I go to a different quote-unquote real optometrist, I wonder if they're like, oh, these are fucked. Like your prescription is way different.
That's some kind of... They're using like a bovine test on you. You need to have a human eye test.
Marlin, you've been going to a veterinarian. Oh, I thought it was weird they'd give me a carrot afterwards, but those are good for your eyes, right? So
this address just leads to a stock trailer in a parking lot.
I mean, I thought that was a weird place for an optometrist's office, but yeah, they also do. Now I'm filled with questions on what real optometry is like, because I've apparently been getting some fucking Cold War era tech.
Yeah. What do you mean they don't lie you down?
Do they do the thing where they have the shiny gemstone that they put up to your eye and then shine a light through it to look at the back of your eye?
God, I can't remember if they do that anymore or not.
Which sounds like some Indiana Jones
shit.
shit.
I was just going to say, yeah.
But yeah, it's like I don't know, it's about the size of the pad of your thumb, like this shiny rock. That even saying it out loud, I'm not sure I'm going to a real optometrist. I think I'm accidentally going to the Tractor Supply Company, and in between selling corral panels, they get in a couple eye tests.
Hey, Marlin, if we could have you lay down, get you in these stirrups here. Oh, eyes, okay.
Putting on an AI glove that goes all the way up to their shoulder.
Ooh, we gotta start. I think the copier's running low on ink. I can barely read this.
but yeah, it's this little gemstone. They hold your eye open and put this little gemstone up there, and then shine the world's brightest light through it in order to see the back of your eye. And so, like, my eyes are just watering, just pouring water, because it's the worst fucking thing in the world.
Man, yeah, they're fucking with you.
Get bombarded with this rock laser.
You're on some Balkan version of punked. There's people in Serbia laughing their ass off at you.
The whole time I can see my own eye blood vessels, and then they're like, oh, looks good. I don't know. And then, like, put dilating drops in your eyes and send you out the door. Like, those are just for their own fun, I think. They're just trying to sell sunglasses.
They still do that. They'll still jack up your eyes pretty good, but yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'm just now realizing I think I'm not going to a real eye doctor.
Yeah, sometimes it's, I think maybe the occasional checkup at Walmart's good just to get your prescription renewed, but I think every few years a guy should go to a real deal one where the guy's not wearing fucking jean shorts. You know? So the Simpsons are enjoying the mall and everything the mall has to offer. They go shopping for Bart for some camping gear because he's about to go to summer camp. But while shopping for Bart's clothes, Lisa and Marge see an ad for some kind of romantic dance kind of Spanish movie, and they are both entranced by it. And after Lisa is just now obsessed with doing the tango, wants to learn how to dance. And I'd say that's the A. This is almost like a co-A story. Like there's not really a major and a minor. They almost kind of, it's like a double lead almost.
Yeah, I do like in that movie because we get kind of a lot of the movie in there, leading me to believe that they didn't have much else for this episode.
Yep.
Because like we get a lot of the movie and there's a point, I forget why, but there's like a Millhouse in the movie.
Yep.
Who like doesn't get to dance with this nerdy girl and says to himself, once again I must sugar my own churro, and goes waddling out of the scene.
Yeah, sadly,
Yeah, sugar my own churro is for sure getting put into my daily lexicon. I am for sure adding that phrase.
Yeah. So Lisa goes to the I'm trying to think of the name of the former child star that is. She's kind of supposed to be a Shirley Temple type.
Yeah, Little Vicky, I think is
Little
her name.
Vicky's, yep. And so they sign her up for Little Vicky. Little Vicky only offers like boring dance that kids are forced to learn. Lisa wants a tango, but she's going to learn fucking tap because the world's cruel and sometimes you don't get what you want.
Have you ever seen tap dancing in real life? Is that a thing that people do in real life?
Not besides like old movies. Nope, I don't get it. It's so fucking.
Add it to the list. It's just on television.
Be so fucking angry if my parents would have made me waste time learning tap, like against my will. Like, you know, if your mom makes you take piano lessons, at least that's a skill. Yeah. You know that you learn music, you learn fucking music theory. That's nice to have. What the fuck does? I mean, it's beside, if you're just laying in the yard, you know, you need to get a kid moving. But like when I was a little kid, I was moving. I would have been so furious. I'm like, hey, get off your bike, quit having fun with your friends. You're gonna go learn an archaic dance form, like
you're gonna go
learn a woman that smells like medicine. God, I'm getting angry right now, like on behalf of the children. I should call my mom and thank her. Like there was someone offering tap lessons in rural North Dakota.
You're gonna go learn fancy clogging. Like that's what tap has always struck me as.
Holy shit, that's a memory just bolted into my brain. Did you guys, when you were little kids in school, learn enough square dancing so you could go perform at like old folks' homes and shit like that?
We did not do the performing part, but we certainly had square dancing in gym in middle school there for a week or so. Thing.
Oh, do you mean like middle school, like junior high?
Yeah, junior high.
Oh, God, even worse. So everyone's all awkward about We learned when we were like 7. Like, so we were little kids. But like,
I don't think we had real teachers, Nathan. I don't think.
You didn't start school till you were like 12. I was like, what, school at 7? Like, we were still scared of electricity when I was 7. You were all like that little feral boy and road warrior. Running down prairie dogs and eating them.
I think the gym teacher just wanted something different. It was no longer football season, so he was bored, I guess, teaching the kids how to square dance from this fucking video.
Our big thing was always the 1 week of, this is when we got to like junior high and high school in gym class, was the 1 week of bowling. Besides that, it was pretty much all whatever he thought of that afternoon. Like, fuck it, let's play kickball. Fuck it, let's play dodgeball.
Yeah.
I can't think of any. You know, in the spring or fall, if we'd have an abnormally nice week, we'd go outside and play softball on like the baseball diamond, which,
man,
in North Dakota,
softball, fancy.
Yep. I'm pretty sure we played softball. Yeah, because those weeks you were expected to bring your glove. Because if you didn't, you got like a choice of oven mitts that had been left there since the 40s.
I think 90% of our gym classes were kickball.
God, we did a lot of
volleyball.
Dodgeball. Yep. We played a version of called four corner volleyball that I loved. It was way more chaotic. There's 4 different teams. It was just balls flying everywhere. It was a nice time.
I don't remember anything like that. I don't think we owned that many balls or nets.
Yeah, I think it was the nets were the big. There's only one ball. So you picture a volleyball, instead of just like one team on one side, and then imagine there's a net down the middle, and now there's 4 teams. So there's one on your left, one on your right, and one that's kitty corner from you.
Okay, we for sure didn't have 2 volleyball nets.
So it was pretty wild. I was the Bill Lambier of 4 corner. I was always stretching the rules because I would never do a proper set. I'd always kind of cup the ball before I do, almost like a throwing, and the volleyball girls would lose their minds because they were all about doing it right. I was like, and then I just flaunt the rules. Like, I'm going to put the onus on Mr. Haugie to blow that whistle, baby.
If he lets me get away with it, I got no reason to not do it.
Yeah. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I forget that you guys were fancy and had a volleyball team.
Yeah. Oh, you guys didn't have girls? You didn't have a volleyball team for
Fuck no.
Really?
Our sports were literally boys and girls basketball and 9-man football.
Oh, so in the fall, there was nothing for the girls to do, huh?
Nope. Could cheerlead if you wanted.
No shit, really, yeah.
I guess we had track too, but nobody fucking ran track.
God, track, yeah. Track was always that sport I forgot was a thing. Like, hey, where's so-and-so at? They had a track meet. I'm like, what? People are still doing that? Like, is he in trouble? Is this some kind of punishment?
Looking back, all they had for track was, like, running events, but looking back, like sitting here today, I'm like, boy, I would have liked to got into some manner of throwing, some shot put or hammer thrower. Yeah. Because I like, when the Olympics come around, I like watching the throwing events.
Yep.
And it's like, boy, I wonder, they certainly wouldn't have shelled out any money for shot puts. You would have just had a rock. You'd have just practiced with whatever rocks were laying around.
We did like a kind of we called it play day, but it was like a yearly track and field event where we competed with the other area schools. And shot put was my jam. That was the one thing I'd place in to make sure, okay, I showed up. They have my name on a list. I got 3rd place. That's plenty good. I don't want to take first. I don't want undue attention.
See, we also had that play day where everyone from the elementary school just like went down to the football field and, participated in track and field events, but it was all just foot races. Like that's all it was.
Oh, no, yeah, we had.
I'd never had a fucking play day ribbon to my name for those 6 years of elementary school.
Oh, no shit. Yeah. So we did shot put, we did softball throw, we did long jump, and we did high jump. And then I think the rest were different variations of sprints and longer runs.
Yeah, I think they pretty exclusively just did foot races. And
that shit, really? Yeah. So like they're not catering to all body shapes, Marlin.
If you were a fat kid, you got to eat shit that day. Like the highlight of play day was the packed lunch that you got to have. Yep.
They made you run with your shirt off. Look at all them titties. Look like he just had a litter of pups. How about you run some sprints for us?
Yeah, I was about to say, and that was the teachers heckling.
Yeah. That was the superintendent. That's a very good idea, sir. We will make him take his shirt off.
Yeah, it was just one more way for the popular kids to be more popular.
Yep. And you were just pining for a chance to show your shot put skills. So Lisa is in dance class, and she is not a natural dancer, to put it kindly. She has no rhythm, and she's struggling. Got to make a quick side note. Holy fuck, Ralphie in that unitard was solid gold.
I liked tap dancing Ralphie quite a bit.
Yep. And I also like that Ralphie, dance comes naturally to Ralphie. We find out later Ralphie's the star of the show.
Yep.
And I have seen parts of this episode before because I have stolen this line of my day-to-day conversation. It's when Lisa's fucking up dancing, when Ralphie goes, Lisa's bad dancing makes my feet sad. One of my favorite Ralphie lines in quite a while here.
I love that it comes so naturally to Ralphie.
Yep, just a little
this
ham.
Is the thing he's good at.
He's shaped like a little ham, and he dances like a little ham.
Ralphie's a born showman.
Yeah, and the other story, Milhouse and Bart are getting on the bus. They're all excited for a camp until they realize that Nelson's going to kick the shit out of them, which that is totally a decision I would have made at that age. Like, oh no,
just bail.
There's bullies that are going to make this terror. I will live on the streets for 7 days. And that's what they do. They go to the mall.
Yeah, and live in the mall.
Yeah, and they live in the mall like you would imagine living in the mall would be when you're 8. They just get into the candy store. They're just living. It's like the movie Big. Like they're just living the dream.
It had a very big feel to me.
Yeah, I am gonna say that this is my favorite of this batch of episodes. The more I think about it, the concept of them thinking it's a giant fucking rat. when they get the cops involved, because they trash that place the first night. It's like something's afoot, and of course Chief Wiggum and all of his wisdom, we got a giant rat, boys. And when they have that giant novelty rat trap, and he makes it all of 5 seconds before he tries to get that cheese out of there. And the best is he doesn't even like try to roll out of the way. He just pulls the cheese and the anvil lands right in the middle of his back.
Yep, doesn't even attempt to swipe it, just grabs it.
Yeah, so they get I can't remember if they get like a leopard or what's the first cat that they get?
Mountain lions.
A mountain lion. And the first one goes right for the cheese and gets crushed by the anvil.
Immediately, like right out of the cage.
So they got to get another lion. And that's what the rest of that becomes is Milhouse and Bart, fending for their lives from the lion. There's kind of a good Abbott and Costello gag where Milhouse peeks through the grass that they're hiding behind, and there's the lion's right there,
right
and
in
he's
his
too
face.
Scared that he can't talk, so it's just all hand gestures. Like,
yeah,
it's like I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, that was funny, and I like that Bart then looks and he like opens the bushes, and the cat's right there, right in his face, and he lets the bush go, and they close, and like nothing happens. It's just like, yep, there it is, and closes again. Real good cartoon shit.
And cut over to the other story. Lisa is now downtrodden. She's lost any enjoyment in this. She wants to quit until she's kind of pressured by Homer, because she notices Homer and Marge are really into this whole dancing thing.
They are very into her being a tap dancer. Yeah,
which I think a lot of childhood ends up being that, is you're doing shit because your parents are happy that you're doing it. So... And she ends up, it's the time for the big recital, and Lisa's so shitty at dancing, she gets the job of being the curtain person. Like, doesn't get to be on stage at all. And and it's more so she's just pissed at her parents are going to be disappointed. And the scientist guy, Professor Frank?
Yeah, I think it's Frank. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, it gotta be Frank, yeah. He overhears Lisa's plight, and as someone who is not physically gifted, understands, and makes sure has a pair of, like, tap dancing shoes that just they will go with whatever rhythm is getting played.
Yeah,
so she gets those
microchips that just do whatever. It just goes along with whatever rhythm it hears.
Yeah, and which is great right away because her feet start dancing and she ends up jumping on the stage and she ends up kind of showing the main lady, little what's her name again? Little Vicky?
Vicky, yeah.
Little Vicky, because Little Vicky has to take over because Ralphie ate too much fucking plastic candy because he's Ralphie. So she's now the star. Little Vicky's the star of this children's dance recital. But Lisa blows her off the stage with some amazing dance, and she is loving it until the people start clapping. And that's when Frankenstein's monster's unleashed. Because now with all that clapping, she can't quit dancing. And it is out of hand. I like how people react like it's like could kill them all. There's like a stampede for the door for some reason.
Yep, they all go running like there's a monster loose.
It's just an 8-year-old girl dancing fast. Like everyone panics. And what I thought was a great gag was they finally get the shoes off of her. And the professor's like, oh, wait. These were never even turned on, Lisa. That was all you. And Homer quickly corrects him, like, "No, they were on. I can see it right here. They were on." Like,
yeah, they were trying to spare Lisa's feelings and make her feel good about herself. But Homer steps up and crushes that right away, accidentally. To be fair, yeah.
You a natural dancer, Marlin?
I have some rhythm. I won't
Do you?
lie.
Good for you.
It's not something I do a whole bunch, but yeah, I can dance. I played a lot of Dance Dance Revolution in my life, which doesn't translate to the real world. Those dance steps are only a thing you do on the machine, because you would look ridiculous otherwise. But yeah, like I grew up, fucking jitterbugging and two-stepping and all of that shit. So I'm
Oh, no shit.
yeah, like I can dance to fucking hear
Where
anything.
the hell did you learn the jitterbug at?
Honestly, in a high
4-H.
school gym class, if I'm not mistaken.
Fascinating, yeah.
I think we had a return of dancing later when we were all of later high school age.
See, like, learning the two-step would be a good skill to have, but fuck square dancing.
Yeah, to hell with square dancing.
I remember them having us square dance in front of, like, the people at the old folks home that were in the last throes of Alzheimer's, like, where they were just letting out guttural moans the whole time. And we're sitting there dancing into fucking Turkey in the Straw. It was something out of a goddamn David Lynch movie. I remember looking back as a kid, I didn't realize how insane it was. Because, I was just, okay, you got to remember, heel toe, whatever, do-si-do. It's like I was too in the zone to realize that we were living a fucking horror movie scene. Like,
also, all that shit that is so instructional, like, all you're doing is counting steps in your head. You're not feeling any rhythm whatsoever.
No, that's exactly what it was. I was like singing along in my head. Okay, here we go. Heel toe, do-si-do, spinny, spinny, boop, boop.
Oh, God. Heel toe, do-si-do, spinny, spinny, boop, boop is maybe my favorite combination of words that you've ever said.
I hope that I was saying them out loud. Like, I didn't realize I wasn't talking to myself, that they were getting said.
I bet you were at the very least mouthing them silently.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Wearing one of my dad's flannel shirts tucked in.
Black jeans, because that was what you wore if you needed to be fancy, was black jeans.
Yeah, and then a cowboy hat we made out of construction paper in art class.
A borrowed bolo tie.
Yeah. So that's how non-country we were, or cowboy we were. I would have had a struggle to find a family or friend that would have had a bolo tie I could use.
Oh, man. I could have lent you bolo ties, buddy.
You were ankle deep in bolo ties wherever you went.
Up to my dick in bolo ties over here.
So that's how that story kind of wraps up. And for Bart and Milhouse, do we get a fucking how did they end up getting away from the cat?
Like Milhouse kind of gets mauled by that mountain lion, and then the cat. Bart distracts the cat with a ball of yarn. And it goes walking up to Wiggum with a bit dangling out of his mouth, and Wiggum goes, "Oh, that's the rat tail. We got it," and they leave.
Yep, that's what it is. And there's a good gig that they just leave without the cats.
Yep, they just leave the mountain lions in the mall.
Yeah, and that was a good gig, too, that you realize, Milhouse might be injured. Like, he gets up like everything's fine, but like he's missing a huge chunk of hair in the back. His shirt's destroyed. Like,
yeah, exactly. And I always like the joke of a wild cat behaving like a house cat. So, like, when he throws the yarn and the cat's just playing with it, I'm like, okay, I like that.
That was a nice touch.
Like that.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, this episode, if this was the average episode for this bunch, it would have been fine. But for me, this is probably the shining star, and that ain't saying a whole lot.
Yeah, it's, I don't think that the highs are super high in this one, but at least the lows ain't too low.
God, man, I don't know. I thought it was pretty low. I'm back to being the grumpy Gus of early 20th century, early 21st century Simpsons.
One of my other favorite things about this episode, which we have brought up before, but not in a good long while, our friend Megatron and Soundwave, fucking Frank Welker, was the voice actor for the Puma, for the mountain lions.
Really?
I don't understand what it is that they get Frank Welker to do their animal sound effects.
So great. I wonder if, like, is he in that same studio and it's just, hey man, step over when you got a minute.
Hey, when you're done talking
noises.
about Cybertron, step over here and make some round cat noises. I love that they always pull in Frank Welker when they need animal sounds.
Yeah. Oh, another good gag that I completely forgot was after Homer can't find any glasses he likes, so he ends up getting LASIK surgery. And which it's our second LASIK surgery joke in this batch. But to be fair, this is kind of when LASIK surgery was first showing up in like in mainstream
and being popular. Yeah,
Yep.
It was no longer this like super rare experimental thing. I feel like.
Yep. I remember around this time I had a boss that got it, and at the time it's like, oh wow, that's fancy. It's like he doesn't have to wear glasses anymore. It can't be that simple.
I have never. I don't think I've ever seriously considered getting it, but everyone I know who has gotten LASIK has been like, I would do it again in a heartbeat, like immediately.
The thing I wish I would have did it 20 years ago. I've always heard that too.
Yeah, everyone I know who's ever gotten it has had fantastic results and been very happy with it.
I finally got serious about it. I went to like the main kind of like chain one that's like the biggest one in the country, but my corneas are too thin. Which I don't like to body shame, but they told me I got thin corneas, so I was not a candidate for LASIK.
Well, now I know how I'm going to tease you or insult you from now on. Like, oh, here comes Nathan Falsbach, Mr. Thin Corneas.
97-pound cornea weakling over here.
Stop
go kick
it, guys.
sand on his corneas.
You know I'm sensitive about my corneas. And you just waddle off crying.
Yeah. My mom said I'm just a late bloomer. I love the gag that they tell him, oh, you need to use these eye drops or your eyes will crust over. He's like, hey, I've heard enough about these upsells. So he just walked, and his eyes like crystallize. It's gross.
Immediately, yeah.
And the bullies end up taking advantage of him by getting him in the car, pretending to be Marge. Like, we gotta go to the liquor store and buy a case of beer and a carton of cigarettes.
Yeah. And Homer, of course, is an idiot, so he's just like, yes, dear, whatever you need.
Whatever,
God, that was a good
feels
gag.
Like that's the first time we've gotten all the bullies together in a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of the delinquents, Jimbo and the rest of them. We see the bald one briefly in the President Lisa episode
head of security
in this match, where he's like the head of her Secret Service, which I thought was, amusing.
I definitely think the last one was the best. Like, just thinking now, like those early ones, there's some of them, there's just nothing memorable. But this one, there's a couple gags that really stuck out for me.
That's kind of where I'm at, where it's like, I think I am more positive on these than you are, and have been for a while. But it's like, it's all middle of the road. Like, I don't think any of these are great or awful. I think they are just on,
Yeah, like, and then even compared to last week's batch, where like there's that one episode where Homer can't go to work, so Bart decides to fill in for him, and that 90 seconds, I laughed more than I did in all 5 of these episodes. And some of that is credit to how good that scene is. Like,
right, yeah.
Where Burns is just rattling off those list of grievances, and Bart's like, I am not Homer Simpson. It's like, and he's just like, I know Homer Simpson when I see him. He's like, I am getting tired of this. I'm just going to prod you with this stick.
Yeah. Last week as a whole was a better batch than this week, for sure.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what next week has in store.
Next week we will kick the door open for season 12.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up 11. We have episodes 21 and 22, and then 1 through 3 of 12. So we got another cross season, and now our nice, convenient, easy numbering will get all fucked up. But it was fun while it lasted.
I've looked ahead. There's an episode coming up that you're going to just really appreciate, Marlin.
Oh, really?
I know your enjoyment of The Simpsons. There's something coming up here that whenever it comes around, We always get a smile out of you, so
Okay,
well, I'm not going to give away anymore. I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I'm excited that there's apparently something aimed right at me. So
there's a lack of giddiness in your tone lately, and I want to bring that spark back. I want young boyish Marlin back with that glint in his eye.
Thank you, Nathan, for bringing back my twinkle.
Yeah. In my notes, and I even mentioned that if you are a dancer, Marlin, may I start calling you Twinkle Toes? That's a name that needs to come back. Like, you need to refer to your, like, I want you to take Twinkle Toes back. I want you to be proud of being a Twinkle Toes. Like, yes, I am very light on my feet. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Fuck it. Yeah. Bring it on. Well,
hey, Marlin, can you grab me a Can you grab me a Diet Sunkist? You do 3 pirouettes through a gas station to get to that. And here we are.
Ta-da, jazz hands.
It would be terrifying to see a man of your build tumbling through a gas station, just doing somersaults.
Oh, God.
It's like one of those critters all grown up. I don't like this one bit.
Just humming along, just da 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 da, just making my way through a fucking Casey's.
In a unitard.
Mini donuts and some Blue Mountain Dew. Da, 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 da. Cheetos. Da, 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 da.
Doing a couple cartwheels here or there.
Put them all on the counter with a flourish and a bow. Yeah, that's how I live my life.
If you put your heart to it and put some work in 6 months, you could do a cartwheel.
Absolutely not. You're out of your fucking mind.
I think you I have the fucking forearms of a malnourished Malaysian girl. Like, I'm just looking at them right now. They would compound fracture into my upper arms. It'd be like something out of a goddamn fucking snuff film. Like, there should be like industrial rock playing in the background as people watched it in slow-mo.
Yeah, like if I were to attempt a cartwheel, as soon as I planted, my wrists would explode and I would fall on the top of my head and be paralyzed from the teeth down. Like, if I attempted a cartwheel, the video footage of it would be playing on the background screen of every live ministry show for the rest of the time. They finally phase out the Bud Dwyer video. Yeah, it would gain some manner of Faces of Death infamy and be passed around the internet. Oh, have you seen this one of the fucking guy doing a cartwheel?
And the best is I somehow survived, but now my hands had to be fused to like where my biceps are. Like the rest of the arm is just mush. So I just got these tiny little arms. I finally got that sun-kissed. I just barely reached to open it.
I'm off to the Ripley's Museum, see if they'll give me some money to let people look at me.
Yeah, it's an honest living. I cannot find a pistol that I can maneuver to kill myself with because of the tiny arms. So I guess we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, I'm just eating out of this trough now.
It cuts to on the screen. Profiles in Courage, the Nathan Folsom story. I'm like the last half of a news show.
Yep, one nice local news segment on you, and wish you the best.
Yeah, that was a beautiful story.
Good for him. Good for him.
I tried to cartwheel in a Circle K to make my friend laugh. I'm fucking baffled with this. The fucking cashier. So, what are you fucking idiots doing?
Oh, God.
I busted a guy selling jankum in the men's room, and that was by far more logical than you two trying to fucking do cartwheels.
Pay for your gas and get out of here, you two.
At least the one in the unitard's dressed for it.
Just out the door.
Holy shit. I am dying picturing that. And you have to be singing it. There's no music playing. Or do you bring in like a little fucking stereo and set it down?
No, it's just me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who can hear the music.
You are somersaulting and not fucking gauging it right and going right through one of those little ice cream bar coolers. And getting in so deep, you got to open the sliding door from the inside and crawl out the top. I think you could patch that up. It's good as new. No, it's not. There's a man-sized hole in the side of that ice cream.
Comedy road trips really need to come back soon, so we can
make these visions reality.
Yeah, I'll get a unitard.
Yeah,
can't say I've ever worn one of those before, but it's the first time for everything.
Where would you go? Like a pro wrestling costume shop? Where do they make plus size? They have to. I've seen many a pro wrestler wear a unitard before.
Those got to be custom joints. You go to a tarp company and have them cut you one just right. And have somebody you know who owns a sewing machine put some seams in it.
Yeah, Moorhead Tarp. Is that what you got to go to? I know there's a Moorhead Tarp company.
Oh, you covering a pickup box trailer? Nope, just my own gross body. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. He's out measuring the pickup just under the assumption, oh, come over here, Chief. You got the wrong vehicle. A confused, sheepish tarp manufacturer having to measure your inseam in the parking lot. Gotta be snug, so I'm gonna need you to get way up in there.
Come on, act like you mean it. Come on, get in here.
Gonna be doing cartwheels and Cenex stations in this thing, so it's got to be real tight.
Yep, but not too tight. I don't need the boys to just burst onto the scene here through this blue tarp.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. If you have them too loose, everything's just flailing about.
I need a tarp that can conceal a body. It's not what you think. It's not. I'm not a murderer.
While you're rattling this off, he has grabbed a bar of soap and is writing "closed" in the windows. No, I'm out of business.
We're not coming back from this one.
Yep. You can make your own. We're done with tarps. You can have whatever in the warehouse. Just make your own, and please never contact my family again.
Don't tell me you're going to try to upsell me on grommets. You want to put grommets in this unitard?
You go in to get a tarp, there's a man measuring his own inseam. That's cool. It's for a unitard. Holy shit. You can't afford anything with elastic, so you have to put grommets in because it laces in the crotch. It's like one of Gene Simmons' leather pants.
Oh, see, in my head, I saw grommets in the back like a corset. So you lace it up that way.
Now, I picture you going into it like a sundress and then lacing up the crotch and tying it up.
I mean, we can get a couple of tarps and see what works.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this. There's all sorts of options.
You know, I've never wanted to be a comedian that has a shtick, but we might have stumbled onto it.
Gas station gymnast. Can't say it's been done.
Nope. All right. Well, I think that about does it for this Simpsons podcast.
Well, next week, episodes 21, 22, and then we're bursting through the gates of season 12.
With 1 through 3, we'll see if we get better from here. Here's hoping.
That's a new Simpsons, a new us.
Yeah. Everyone enjoy their week. We'll catch you next Tuesday.
See you, everybody.